In a world of negativity and dismay, every time a challenge is thrown at me, I find myself struggling to be a positive Polly in a world where there's trash, things thrown at me that are out of my control. When my car breaks down, and then a week later my fridge breaks down, and at the same time I'm trying to be a mom, and then 2 weeks later my kids are sick, and they're so sick, and every time I look, one gets sick, and then the other gets sick, and then my car breaks down again. Through all of the trials and tribulations, I work 2 jobs. I'm tired. I'm walking to my apartment just to see if I could even muster up a minute to have some self-reflection and enjoy a game or something for me in that time frame. All of this to say, I am a positive Polly living in a negative Nancy world, and I'm about to crumble. All of this to say that I just finished a shift that made me feel a little lackluster, feel a little less hopeful of the world around me. It was exhausting. I did 16 hours and it was just a lot. The nice thing to come home to, though, is that smiling face from my beautiful girl. This is Shelby. She's so wonderful and sweet and perfect. I could not have asked for a better dog. Coming home to see the smiling faces of all my animals makes it a little bit easier on the soul to deal with the job that I have. This is Bee. She's my lizard. She makes an appearance pretty often in my life. I feel so happy and blessed to have her. I was acquiring her from a coworker that was not giving her the attention she needed and allowed me to take her home so I could bring her home to my boys. This smile, the joy that's in her eyes when she sees me, kind of makes me feel like that's how I feel on the outside, and I try to reflect it on the inside even when it's hard. With it harder to pay my bills and just live my life the way I want to, I'm not asking for a mansion, I'm just asking for a house. And if that's not attainable, I just really want a new apartment. All of that to say that working 2 jobs allows me to have the comfort and the ability to pay all my bills, but still take my kids out to do something fun every once in a while. And it can be very trying in the moments like this. This is the end of my shift. And after the relief shift I did, it just doesn't feel worth it anymore to do this type of stuff. Starting my day again, all the while to see the same faces, the same people, the same animals half the time for the same reoccurrences. A dog that eats a sock and then it comes back the next week for the same sock ingestion. And I do love my job. Sometimes it's hard because it's not just filled with things like sock ingestions. The reason why people leave my field so often is for the end of quality of life checks, the things that are out of our control, the owners that get angry with us for bills that they can't pay, unforeseen things, everything's so expensive. But there's always one shiny diamond in my life. It's Starbucks, and I love her to death. She's always there when I need her. She picks me up when I'm down, and she allows me to go to my job at night. But success requires hope, faith, and passion. And I do have a passion for my job. It may not always seem like it when you see me at work and I'm looking down and I'm doing another euthanasia or something else that's more critical, more dire, that could have been avoided, like a hit by car, a dog jumping out of a car, retractable leashes, and then any sort of ingestion. Enjoying my sandwich was definitely a joy for me. And I did get some egg bites, and unfortunately, in the last moment, I dropped them. Yep. It was the one food I had all day, and I was looking forward to it. And little things like that are trying to make me a negative Nancy. And I pull myself up by the bootstraps, rush inside a Costco. It's 3:40. My work shift starts at 4:30. Could I make it? Can I pull myself up by the bootstraps and get it done? My husband had no faith in the ability for me to run in Costco as quickly as possible, but I knew I could do it. I was going in for snacks and for some ramen, but unfortunately they did not have the only thing I truly went for. And you can see here, I'm rushing. I am going to get to work on time. I will have the snacks I need. And I planned, and I saved, and I made sure that when I went, I was ready for what I needed. Doritos, and some snackies, and some popcorn, and some Parmesan crisps. At this point, I'm literally chugging everything in here as fast as I can, rushing, racing against the clock, so I can get everything I need into one day. Spend the hours with my kids, go to work, but in between that time, I gotta figure out a way to get what I need. And I was able to get everything I needed for $100, which kind of blew my mind. I felt really proud of myself because I budgeted so well, and that's very unlike me, my husband would say, and I had time to spare. Because I wasn't feeling myself, I chose to go to Five Below with my kids. Sometimes I just want a moment to give some joy to them. Coming home, enjoying my new cup, my Starbucks cup, getting her filled with ice and enjoying her. We did some screen time, ate some lunch. Yes, I do feed them junk food. I am not a granola mom, unfortunately. After this, they got to play with their toys and we did some homeschooling. And here comes my dog. She will always beg. She was never a beggar before, but when my other dog passed away, she had to fill those pants. They were big shoes to fill. And again, here I am on the day in and day out of my life. I am going to work exhausted, ready for the Monday and how I enjoy the week. I once read a poem that really stuck with me. It said, "Nothing beats hard work with enthusiasm and drive," and that holds true. I wanted to touch on the books that I use in order to help me teach my son how to read, and somebody handed these to me and they have completely changed how I have taught him how to read. And we've had some milestones, some setbacks, but these books, they were designed to teach children how to read. They are expensive but helpful. I also found these at the Target dollar spot. They were for Black History Month, and they have some opening parts and things that are interactive. And sometimes when I'm too tired to do anything with the kids, we literally just walk around my apartment complex because it seems the most feasible when I'm exhausted from my work week. I just let them run around, and we have so many obstacles around our complex that it's just easy to kind of let them jump off of things, roll in the grass, touch the flowers, enjoy the leaves, enjoy nature the way it's meant to be, even if it's in a controlled environment. I just feel like this is what it is to be a kid. Just get out, smell the flowers, enjoy the sunlight. Vitamin D is important, just like any other vitamin in your life. Sometimes just being annoyed with the heat, basking in the sunlight, talking to my kids, enjoying the time around us is just enough to get me out of my head and realize what I'm thankful for. I couldn't ask for a better life. I have 2 wonderful kids that annoy me to the end of time, but I get to spend all day with them and then enjoy my job at night. I have a successful team that's set up for positivity and enjoyment, and there's not too many negative Nancys in my workforce right now, and that makes it a little easier to do what I do. We did end up going to Aldi, and I found this veterinary bag. And it's a book, and it comes with interactive toys and x-rays and stories about fixing turtles and enjoying what it is to be a veterinarian. And I aspire to teach my kids that no job is worth any dismay. You can enjoy everything around you and treat it the way it is. I will say this end of night was a little harder than most. It had finished that one shift, the relief shift, and I did end up emailing my rep, and I just felt it was necessary to enlighten them on what I experienced, and whether they chose to do anything about it is up to them. But I just felt like if I hadn't said anything, who am I? What am I doing? Should I let somebody succumb to the same type of behavior that I was succumbed to? I know it doesn't mean a lot, but I do understand that my time is valuable and I am allowed to pick up shifts at places. I do understand that. The thing is, I just don't agree with how they handled it, and that's okay. Not everybody's the same, and if they choose not to do anything, that's okay too. I find myself overthinking certain situations like this. Like, should I have whistleblowed? Did it seem like I was being annoying? Should I have kept my mouth shut? But when I ask people around me, they agree. I try to make the most honest picture so that I can get an unbiased opinion from anybody around me, because I don't want to feel like I'm making mountains out of molehills, because I am not that type of person. I am the type of person that will put my head down and just move on with my life. I will try to get through this shift because my motto is every shift eventually ends. And sometimes in those moments, it feels like it's not going to end. And that is so hard. When I was sitting there watching the minutes go by and saying to myself how many more minutes I had left of this shift, I couldn't just leave. Who's to say that I wouldn't have gotten docked for this? Who's to say that those little extra amounts of money didn't mean enough for me to buy something special for my kids? And so I think about them, I quantify the moments, I explain to myself in detail, should I actually stay? And the answer came to a resounding yes. Money can buy happiness in some situations.